Linda Lee, and Eric Adams. Well, I mean, look, guys, listen. Everyone is saying, because I'm getting from two different sides, like, oh, Kit, man, Mamdani is AOC 2.0, which I understand. The reason why I'm critical and I'm siding with due dissidence on this one here too. Sit back and wait. Let's see what happens, okay? I want to be wrong. I even think JB from RBN is correct. Like, I don't want to be disappointed. I don't want to be disappointed either. I really don't. I really don't want to be disappointed, but I'm so used to it by now. But on the other hand, people are saying this could be the chance to reform the Democrat Party. But I've heard this before, okay? From DSA, from Our Revolution, from Brand New Congress, from Justice Democrats. And now you're hearing this from this new thing that Cenk is making called Rebellion PAC. And then, of course, David Hogg tried the same thing too. And you know what? Again, I want to be proven wrong, but here's the thing. I'm picking up Sword and Shield, haha, don't forget to subscribe, to defend Mamdani, because you have Mayor Eric Adams saying, that Mamdani is a socialist communist, okay? Socialist. And then you have Linda Lee saying, that I guess Linda Lee is saying that Mamdani is going to bring in an infidata to New York City. Like, okay, like, look, I got my criticism of them, okay? And, due dissidence, I think they brought up a very good, fair amount of criticism towards Zohran Mamdani, okay? I know that Mike from No Sound Bites definitely has his strong opinions about Mamdani. I believe that Larry Sharp, good friend of the show, shout out to Larry Sharp, a libertarian, definitely has some criticism towards Mamdani. And I know that Jose Vega, good friend of the show, also critical of Zohran Mamdani, because Jose Vega is running as an independent, right? He's facing off against Richie Torres. But look, if you're going to be critical of somebody, talk about their policies, not about their identity, okay? Because I've seen people who claim to be socialist not be social at all. And then also, if you're going to be talking about some stuff, like, I mean, come on. What, Lindy Lee, listen, you shouldn't be talking, because you and a whole bunch of other donors got suckered into giving money to Joe Biden's campaign when he's clearly a senile old bat.
I'm absolutely stunned that the city that is famous for being terrorized by Islamic terrorists is on the cusp of electing Islamic extremists who is chanting globalized intifada as its mayor.
Okay, go on, continue.
That for me is just jaw-dropping. This is 24 years after 9/11. And it just completely blows my mind that this is
I'm just curious, is there a day you wake up where you don't see terrorism everywhere? Because you literally just implied that this guy's a terrorist. And I found that bigoted, Islamophobic, and absolutely disgusting. If you don't like his policies, I can understand that. And we can have a discussion about those policies. But it seems like you just have a problem with the fact that he's Muslim. You have a problem with the fact that he looks a little different from other previous mayors. Don't interrupt me. I'm still speaking. I didn't interrupt you. Listen, the problem with that mayoral race is that the Democratic candidates who ran against him in the primary offered nothing. They offered nothing but the status quo. Andrew Cuomo was the former disgraced governor of that state who somehow thought that he had, the entitlement to have his past erased and that people would totally accept him again. I'm really happy to find that the people of New York City rejected him because he's a complete and utter disaster. Now, as it pertains to Mamdani, we should actually talk about what he focused on as he was campaigning, because he actually did run a fantastic campaign. Even if you don't agree with his policies, he reached out to Trump voters in New York City and tried to figure out, hey, what is it that made you vote for Trump? What is it that's frustrating you about your current situation? He hyper-focused on economic frustration, much like Trump did, by the way, in 2016. That's what put Trump on the map. Mamdani did the same, although he had a little more substance to the exact policies that he wanted to implement.
Okay, so look, I wanted to just have that play out. All right, I think Anna Kasparian is absolutely correct in breaking down about why Mamdani won. Because look, okay, to be clear here, especially way early on a few weeks ago, and I was in agreement with this analysis too, and I was hoping that it would be wrong. You have Cuomo, a name and at the time, myself and Larry Sharp pretty much were in agreement. Like, yeah, I think Cuomo's had this in the bag. I think there is that problem of name recognition. But as the days went on, the campaign went on, as they were adapting, and of course, listening to feedback and following back, as well as the infamous primary debate, Mamdani was able to deliver the wins necessary in the ranked choice voting to do that. Now, again, ranked choice voting, I prefer that method. I think, first of all, we need to get money out of politics. Ranked choice voting, abolish all political parties, obviously, and then and have the American people actually choose who they want to represent them. Now, Cuomo, I don't know what he was thinking, but why would you be stupid enough to run for mayor when people do forget. That is a sad thing about humanity. We do forget. But sometimes there's a jolt of memory like, oh, yeah, 2020, Governor Cuomo. There were a lot of scandals surrounding that boy. What happened to that boy? Finish the song if you know what I mean. But no, yeah, seriously, people remember Cuomo and the senior citizens. And I'm pretty sure a lot of family members and friends of those senior citizens who died in those old folks' home during the 2020 lockdowns will have a lot of questions for Cuomo and his administration. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of sons and daughters, grandsons and granddaughters, friends and relatives that have a lot of questions, that are in deep pain, that have a right to know. But Cuomo, in his infinite wisdom, decided to run for mayor of New York City. Now, I could have my criticism of Mamdani, and you know what? I do. And if I ever have a chance to have him on the show, I don't know. Why should we have faith in a political party that you're part of that is constantly screwed over and lied to the American people, not only at the federal level, but in the numerous states, cities, and counties? All right, I'm from Chicago, all right? I know a thing or two about the Democrat machine here in Chicago. It's the World Heavyweight Championship in corruption. Just like in New York City, too. Why be associated with the political party? What do you think you could do to reform it? There's been all these failed attempts to reform it. Like, why are you there? And I don't want to hear the excuse of, well, it's the only thing we got, Johnny. My name's Kit, though. I need to know. See, if I'm going to be critical of somebody, I'm not going to go after their religion. I'm not going to have to go after the color of skin. I'm not going to even go after their political ideology. I want to know what you stand for, and why would you put the Democrat or Republican logo by your name? I want to know that. Break away from the two-party system. Hey, no matter what happens to Hard Lens Media, folks, at the end of the day, you're always going to know this. Break away from the two-party system. Break away from the two-party system. But, Eric Adams, though, he decided to weigh in on this. Eric Adams, you're one to talk because there's scandals surrounding you too, buddy.
I think that they, have a right to be concerned when you look at someone who is just not pro-business, pro-growth. This is not a socialist country, and we're darn sure we're not a socialist city. This is a city of business opportunities. But I want to allay their fears. I'm going to beat him. And we're going to continue the growth that we've witnessed in the city under this administration. More jobs in the city history, more small business in the city history. Last 12 months, Broadway has had the best recorded success in this city. Crime is down, jobs are up, and we're going to continue that.
You said this isn't a socialist city. Are you surprised that more than 430,000 people voted for him here in New York?
No, I'm not. The Democratic primary is the far left of the Democrat.
Oh, no. You don't get to say that about a primary. Democrat establishment people should not be saying that about any primary. Because everyone always says it's centrist and pragmatic. Always the far left? Or is it because people were not just interested in Cuomo?
Democratic Party. Over 2 million Democrats did not vote. Over 1 million independents did not vote. And so when you factor in the far left of the party is really what elected him, now it's time for the whole party to get engaged. So are there 400,000 people who have that philosophy in a city of 8.5 million? Yes, there is. But the overwhelming number of New Yorkers, they want a city where they have opportunities, and that is what New York City represents.
But he will be the Democratic nominee. How are you said we're going to beat him. How are you going to beat him in a city that is overwhelmingly Democrat? I think it's 1 in 6 New Yorkers.
Okay, so first of all, just wanted to give you guys a heads up, and this should enrage my fellow independents like Larry Sharp and Jose Vega. They're both from New York City. You know, both have run campaigns, and they have dealt with the New York State, New York City machine, because just like Chicago, just like Illinois, independent third-party candidates struggle to get on the ballot and be on the debate stage. Their voices aren't being heard, but guess who's running as independent? Eric Adams, and I believe as it stands right now, even Cuomo might be throwing his hat in the ring. And I'm willing to bet. I know. Hold on. I might sound like a bad guy, but hold on, everybody. This is why you should subscribe, because occasionally you get visited by evil people. It's evil kids. And I promise you this, that Eric Adams and Cuomo running as independents, they're not going to have any trouble getting on the ballot or being on a debate stage. It's almost going to be like a door's open for them because it's names you know. They're not going to have a problem. If they were anybody else, they'd be having some problems. Oh yeah, this I doesn't look like it's dotted right. This T doesn't look like it's crossed right. Kit, don't project your pain covering Chicago politics onto New York City. It's all I know. All I know is pain. All I know is great pain.
Right. And when you look at the party, the Democratic Party, we have several factions. I'm still a Democrat running on an independent line that the law and the rules allow me to do. So the Democratic Party is not monolithic. There's a far left, AOC, extremist end, and then you have the moderate end and a conservative end of the Democratic Party.
Yes, because AOC's got so much power. A woogie, boogie, 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 boogie. A woogie, boogie, 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 boogie.
Like I said, over 2 million did not vote. And so when you factor in that 2 million and then 1 million independents, you begin to see the real flavor of the city.
I know, a real flavor. But here's the thing. I think I know it's going to be triggering more people against Zohran Mamdani. This is from Case Study QB. Be sure to follow him on all social media. He's wrongly being censored. I know the pain.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
You were recently asked about the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue. So I want to give you an opportunity to
Hold on. We're going to rewind that again one more time.
What we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make.
Now, here's the thing. We're going to rewind it again one more time. Here's the thing. Some people will be saying, yeah, but read between the lines. And this is where I know, and I want to be wrong. And you know what, everybody? I would defer to content creators from New York City who will be in the front lines. Do Dissidents, Mike from No Sound Bites, Larry Sharp, Jose Vega, right? I would defer to those guys first because they live in New York City. They know its politics. They know how cruel it can be. But if you read between the lines saying, I will work with anybody, including billionaires, I'm not saying that Mamdani will sellout or anything of that nature, but it sounds shockingly familiar. Okay, I want to be wrong, my beautiful people. I so want to be wrong. Now, if I'm being too judgmental, if I'm doing a knee-jerk reaction, I apologize for my behavior.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
You were recently asked.
It's rough out there for billionaires trying to make ends meet, taking care of their baby mama or baby mamas, putting food on that table. You think high-priced caviar pays for itself, you selfish people? What do you think? You think helicopter rides are free? Huh? That the PJs. Oh, no, I'm not talking about peanut butter and jelly, which is delicious to have, but I'm talking about private jets. You think private jets pay for themselves? Listen to me. Listen to me very carefully. It's not like one day I'm going to be minding my business and go, oh, who's knocking at my door? And then a private jet's going to be like, hi, Kit Cabello. I'm a private jet. I paid for myself for you to have. That doesn't happen. Now, maybe in an alternate dimension, that's happening, but that doesn't happen here. And it's so sad. It's rough out there for those billionaires. Come on. Where's your heart, people?
About the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence.
Oops, I just realized that the video isn't playing. Haha. I paused there to look uncomfortable.
And across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
You were recently asked about the term globalize the intifada, if it makes you uncomfortable. In that moment, you did not condemn the phrase. Now, just so folks understand, it's a phrase that many people hear as a call to violence against Jews. There's been a lot of attention on this issue. So I want to give you an opportunity to respond here and now. Do you condemn that phrase, globalize the intifada?
That's not language that I use. The language that I use and the language that I will continue to use to lead this city is that which speaks clearly to my intent, which is an intent grounded in a belief in universal human rights. And ultimately, that's what is the foundation of so much of my politics, the belief that freedom and justice and safety are things that to have meaning have to be applied to all people, and that includes Israelis and Palestinians alike.
But do you actually condemn it? I think that's the question.
Do you bloody well condemn Hamas? You condemn Hamas?
And the outstanding issue that a number of people, both of the Jewish faith and beyond, have. Do you condemn that phase, globalize the intifada, which a lot of people hear as a call to violence against Jews?
I've heard from many Jewish New Yorkers who have shared their concerns with me, especially in light of the horrific attacks that we saw in Washington, D.C. and in Boulder, Colorado, about this moment of anti-Semitism in our country and in our city. And I've heard those fears and I've had those conversations, and ultimately they are part and parcel of why in my campaign I've put forward a commitment to increase funding for anti-hate crime programming by 800%. I don't believe that the role of the mayor is to police speech in the manner especially of that of Donald Trump, who has put one New Yorker in jail who's just returned to his family, Mahmoud Khalil, for that very supposed crime of speech. Ultimately, what I think I need to show is the ability to not only talk about something, but to tackle it and to make clear that there's no room for anti-Semitism in the city. We have to root out that bigotry, and ultimately we do that through the actions, and that is the mayor I will be, one that protects Jewish New Yorkers and lives up to that commitment through the work that I do.
But quickly, for the people who care about the language and who...
The language. Like, look, I mean, already he's dancing around answering the question, but at this point, lady, get the hint. It's time to moveon.org.
Feel really concerned by that phrase. Why not just condemn it?
We's a Democrat. Don't worry, he will. All right, it's gonna happen somewhere down the road. Okay, now do this is saying everybody wait, and the thing is wait. We'll see what he says, but at the end of the day, don't worry. He's gonna have a constructed speech. He's gonna say it. I'm gonna say, but it's like Pierce Morgan. Do you blame hummus? Hummus. He's gonna do it. Don't worry.
My concern is to start to walk down the line of language and making clear what language I believe is permissible or impermissible takes me into a place similar to that of the president who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed.
It's sort of like how the Biden or Obama Biden administration, how they went after whistleblowers and journalists. Right? Or either, hey, wait, better yet, under Biden, when we had to deal with censorship and independent media getting... It's wrong for me to project. It is incorrect of me to project what I have been through upon others and to say, well, this politician's lying. It is wrong, and it's not fair to you, my audience. It is not fair to you, my audience. And I'll tell you why it's not fair. Because after 8 years of doing this, I am so used to just getting rug pulled. And that's not fair to you, the audience. It never has been, never will be. It's incorrect. But I would be wrong also not to raise the warning. And I understand that there are people in my chat that say, no, I'm for Mamdani. And I get it. You know what? If that's your choice, I acknowledge and respect that choice. But be careful with these Democrat lawmakers that say things you want to hear. And I'll say the same thing to conservatives, too. Trump supporters. Be careful. And look, as much as I respect Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, I got to remember, at the end of the day, they're part of the Republican Party. I'd say break away from it, run as independent. Dare I say it, do a hostile takeover of the Libertarian Party. No, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But it is wrong for me to automatically project. It's just I'm so used to it that I can't help myself but say it out loud.
Of the president who is looking to do those very kinds of things, putting people in jail for writing an op-ed, putting them in jail for protesting. Ultimately, it's not language that I use. It's language I understand there are concerns about. And what I will do is showcase my vision for the city through my words and my actions.
Oh, I realize that my video is also blocking the closed captioning. Well, just another thing I have to fix here for Hard Lens Media. Okay. My apologies on that. So what's the takeaway from this? Well, first of all, Lindy Lee and Eric Adams and BSDNC going after Mamdani, saying, oh, he's a socialist Islamic extremist. Well, are you just saying those words, or do you have nothing else to land on? Because it sounds like you're kind of pulling things out to scare people, when you should be judging the guy on his policies. Now, I'm judging Mamdani on his association with the Democrat Party, okay? And overall, how progressives like to jump on board, or either that, how Democrats like to jump on board and say, see, you could still vote for us, because sooner or later, Mamdani's going to get a phone call. Because, you know, there is still the establishment hoping that Eric Adams wins or Cuomo can win. And then, oh, wow, surprise, they're no longer independents, they're running as Democrats now. Or they're Democrats now. How did that happen? It's just I'm preparing myself for the worst. There is no hope when it comes down to U.S. politics. And if Mamdani's going to be different, then maybe this is a sign. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this could be a change of things. Maybe it is possible to, I don't know, fix the Democrats, which I don't think is possible at all. But if people want to waste their time on it, fine. Go for it. But know this, you have a home here at Hard Lens Media, which is why you should like, comment, share, and subscribe. And, you know, break away from the two-party system. There's no incentive there. So I will also say that when the general election happens, definitely a huge shout-out to, you know, my fellow colleagues in independent media across the political spectrum, Do Dissidents, Jose Vega, Mike from No Soundbites, Larry Sharp. I'm pretty sure they're all going to have their opinions on it. New York City is going to be a battleground. Stay tuned and stay above the fray.